Hey everybody, just got done making the chef approved top dress recipe for living soil. We're going to recap that. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. I've got one pot that's doing quite well, but it is getting ready to flower pretty suddenly here, and I want to make sure that we give them the boost in nutrients and the extra life in the soil that will help them get to a very fruitful flowering period. So once again, here is the top dress recipe. We're using all organic products here because it is an organic living soil grow. First thing we have on the list is malted barley. We're going to use 18 grams of this. We take and put it in a blender and grind it up. It's about 2 tablespoons volume, 18 grams weight. Next ingredient, fishbone meal. We're going to use 16 grams or 2 tablespoons, 16 grams weight of this. And once again, this is for 1 5-gallon pot. Next ingredient, kelp meal. Okay, the kelp meal, we're going to use 10 grams of this, 1 tablespoon. You'll notice that all of this is organic. Next ingredient, gypsum. This is a natural mineral mined out of the ground. For the gypsum, we're going to use 36 grams of that, or 4 tablespoons volume. Last but not least, worm castings. I'm going to guess that it's going to be about 1 pound or a half a kilo that we'll use on top. We're going to layer in some green leaf trim. That was from defoliation. And then here is some mulch from brown mulch that we're going to use on top to mix as well. So that's the recipe, and once again, this is just to help to supplement the life in the living soil and give it an extra charge of all the microbiology, especially from the worm castings. That just really kicks it into high gear. It just starts producing all the nutrients the plants need. It helps to drive down any type of pest that might be coming along, and also creates beautiful buds. So let's get to actually top dressing some living soil. Okay, so here is approximately 3.5-4 gallon living soil pot. We're growing Nancy's Own Grimey Bubblegum. Plants are doing quite well. We're getting to the point almost where it's time to defoliate again. If you look underneath, you can see the cover crop is still doing well. We're going to trim that back, pull this mulch off, and then top dress it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is remove the mulch. And pin the plants so they're not stapled to the ground. I'm going to get this mulch out of here. You'll notice that there's a bunch of plants mixed in with this. We're going to trim those down. This is part of the cover crop. As we trim them back and bury them underneath everything, they're going to produce nitrogen. We'll clip this bean. We'll see if it doesn't come back. Alright, so we got most of the mulch off of there. I've let this soil dry out for a couple days because I was anticipating doing this. Okay, remove the mulch. Cut back. This is now mulch. That's a bean plant or a pea plant. As you can see, this is the actual soil underneath here. This is the Coots, Clackamas Coots living soil blend, mainly pumice, peat moss, and worm castings. Okay, so let's go to the next step. So the next step, what I'm going to do is put this green trim from when we were defoliating. spread that around. And each time we do this, we're going to be spreading this as a layer across it here. Okay. Next, it's going to be top dress blend that we just talked about. Spread that around nicely. Make sure it gets all in evenly across the whole thing. Okay, so there's the top dress right there. The mix of the kelp, the gypsum, the barley mix, and the fishbone meal. See, I've gotten it all, try to get it all evenly around. Soil is pretty compact. Okay, the next layer that we're going to be putting on here is going to be the worm castings. However, I want to show you something. What I'm going to do quickly here is take and water this in just a tad. Okay, I'm using distilled water here. You can see a lot of that is dissolved already. And now the secret weapon for living soil, the worm castings. Okay, and we're going to put a nice 3/4 to 1 inch layer of worm castings across this. Look at that. That's black gold right there. Okay, spread that around nicely. Put those all the way in. Alright, so you can see now, so that was a layer of green mulch that had been dried out, green leaves that were dried out, and then the dried ingredients on top of that, and then worm castings. And last, we're going to replace this mulch, and we're going to water this whole thing in very nicely. Okay, I got a nice layer of mulch. It's going to keep it nice and moist. Now we're going to water this thing from the top down this time. I had let it dry out. We're going to let it be watered from the top down at this point, just so that all of those nutrients come from the top down into the roots. So we're going to water it with at least a good half a liter to a liter of water from the top down. I'm not really going to make you watch me water the whole thing. And here's the end result. Now these plants, they were pinned down. I let them go just for this event. I'll let them stand up on their own for a while. Do a little defoliation after a couple days. Overall, I think they're doing quite well. And just to be clear, this pot I grew a plant in last summer. It was outside for probably 6 months. Top dressed it with that same top dressing you just saw at least 3 times before. It's a no-till pot. I have not pulled everything out and mixed it up. All I did basically was remove the plant, and I didn't even remove the roots. I cut around the ball and let the roots remain because that's all part of the decay process and the living soil process. Hopefully you learned a little bit from this, and we'll take a look next time at the results of this top dress.